Hello guys, welcome back. So in this video we'll be covering login and registration, so at least we can start fetching data. So I did some few things, as you saw in the last video. Getting page just to look nice is something that can be time consuming, but it's always easy. So that's why I did a lot of things and then came back after doing it. So in my home page, you see home page has one thing which over time we will loop over these to create multiple to-do lists, like to do that user add, then we will be creating over here. So that is basically what happens here, because that is where we'll be showing to-dos. And then I have designed a page for login which has this form, and register which again has this form. So that is basically simple, it does nothing special. So I just in fact I just copied the code from the bootstrap link I showed you in the previous video, and just placed it over here and just made some few modification to work. So it does nothing special for sure. So that is why in this video we will start building on them, because I have registered them and they are ready for use. So let's get into it. So let's start with login. So let's start with registering, because you want to register a user before you can log them in. So let's start with the registration page. So if you come into my components, you see there is a register content. So there is this form that has fields that user can feed in. So we want to handle submitting this form. So whenever you are getting user input, you can use vmod, which is just something that vmodel, which you can use vmodel, which will help you get user data and store it inside the state. But I would prefer going with form submission. I like the traditional way of doing things, so I'll just go with submit because it's a form. And then here you make a function. When this form is submitted, what function would you like to call? Now we'll call handle register. So simply by the name, as you can see, it handled registration. So inside here you need to make methods, which is this, and then it has one method called handle register, which takes in the event, which in our case the event is what was just triggered, which is submitting a form. So when a form is submitted, you want to get some fields, which is username, email, password 1 and password 2. So I may speed up so that I don't waste much time, because these videos are getting long. So so as you can see, I just made this handler which takes in username, which gets username, email, password 1 and password 2, which are simply these things over here. So I hope you know JavaScript, because you see this is it.target element. I know that is simple. So because this form is submitted via JavaScript, then we need to prevent default, or else the page will try to refresh. So we prevent default event, which is normally a page refresh, so that we can handle things inside this method. And then I just logged out the data over here, because we need to find a way to handle them and send them to the backend. So for now, let us just test that out. I haven't even tested out. I hope I don't get errors. Cancel. So username, let me just say Kim or K9K, wherever that means, and then just that as the password, and then use the password generated, and then just try registering. So you see, whenever I did that, then I got the data over here. So at least this data is what you want to send to the front end, to the back end, not the front end. So that is what I want to show you. So we need to make a view over here. So all these events are being handled inside register content, which is a component, but we want to handle all the events inside views. So that is why we normally in JavaScript, there's normally in Vue there's something called this.emit, which you can push data to a function that is just behind. I don't know, guys. I hope you understand all these things. You use this emit now, which takes in the event, which in our case, let's say the event will be calling handle register. So this event you just pass in as a prop inside the component, and then the data you want to pass to the emit function over here. So let's go and make this or in our view login, view register. So we need to pass that over here, that we are binding it. So it's whatever I did, I'm really, so let me copy. So we bind that method over here, and then it's calling a function called login handler. Now it's register instead of login. So register handler, then just come over here and make a method. So it takes in some data. So, and then here now let's console log the data that we just got, and go to our component here, and at least we removed the logging. So let's see if the same thing happens, then we know that it's working. I forgot a comma, so I forgot that comma. So let's refresh the page. Now we get this. I've zoomed it so at least you can see what I'm doing, which I'm not sure even you need to see. Then just now just try creating a, this is supposed to be an email, so to at least prevent me from submitting, and just do some things over there, and then confirm the password the same. Don't save, it's not login. Okay guys, so I did the wrong binding over here. So this is a function, not a variable in any other thing, so I'm really sorry. So we are binding a function which we use that. So this is one thing I really just did it so fast. No, just it's the whole thing was just over here. Now let's go and try it again. Now you'll see we get the data being consoled over here. So that means that now we can handle our login. So that is why we need to find, now go over here, we need to find a method that we can use to log in. So graphql is available for us in the front end, but now we need a method that we will be using. So that's why I do it over here so quick, and then just show you. So guys, so you saw me make this thing really fast. So this is how we'll be making mutations. So we are passing it as a function that is taking in some values, and then the function that we want to call. So these are variables. That is why you have to start with the $sign, and then you just use with the $sign to pass in values to wherever you want. So, and then the variables you want are passed over here. For instance, our email, you see when I type, then it just gives us a, let me just zoom in, let me just zoom, so that way I hope you can see. So I'm really sorry. So this is it. So guys, this is how we make mutations over here. So you just make something like a function, and then the function that you want to call, which is basically what we've been writing, but that was, we were able to do that because we were passing in values over here directly. But you can start thinking in the case of a program, how will you be able to pass those values now? And then just here, the query variables are where you want to pass your variables. Now let me do in drop, then just do at email.com. Then another thing is password. You see when I type, then the fields that are over here are suggested. It's not what are over here, it's what are over here. So password, this is what actually you will be, the form, what we have currently in our front end over here. So we could even decide to just take all of these and just bring over here, because that would be simple. But now I get some problems with these and these, with that. And then now this is a form we are ready to submit. So how do we do that? You just hit this and you see it will create user and will say no such table graphing out user status. So because I think we need to make migrations for some reason, but I think you can see what is happening. So that is basically what we'll be doing. So guys, that marks the end of this video. So please subscribe and like. So in the next video we'll see how we implement all this functionality into our application using the Apollo client, and then I'll go and make these migrations. Also, if you get such an error here, then go make migrations basically, or if it's something else, I'll show you in the next video. So goodbye and have a nice time.